A simple touch became a dangerous game, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to face the consequences. It felt like we were standing on the edge of something amazing or something that could tear us apart forever. The feelings were undeniable, but the fear of losing everything we had as friends held me back. I tried to tell myself it was nothing, that we were just caught in the moment, but deep down, I knew it was more than that. It was like I could feel our hearts beating in sync, but I wasn't sure if I should be excited or terrified. I thought our friendship was unbreakable, but in that moment, I realized it was the one thing standing between us. I didn't know what to do, what to say. I just knew that the kiss was coming and it was going to change everything. As our faces got closer, I felt my heart pounding, and I realized I didn't know how to stop this from happening. It was like every moment before that led us to this point, and now we had no choice but to see where it would take us. What do you do when the one person you've trusted more than anyone is suddenly the one you're afraid to lose? I could feel the electricity in the air, and it was like the world was holding its breath, waiting for us to make a choice. It wasn't just the kiss, it was everything that led up to it, all the unsaid words and stolen glances. One look from them, and I knew I couldn't fight it any longer. We were both already falling. It's funny how one single moment can change your entire perspective on love, friendship, and everything in between. I thought I had it all figured out, but when they leaned in, I realized I was completely lost in the moment. I could feel the world spinning around me, and for the first time, I wasn't sure if I was ready to face the consequences of our actions. We were so close, yet so far away. I didn't know if I was about to lose my best friend or fight something I never expected. Every inch between us felt like an eternity, and I couldn't help but wonder if I was about to lose everything I held dear. I was standing on the edge of a cliff, and I didn't know whether to leap or pull back, but my heart was already telling me what to do. In that moment, all I could hear was the pounding of my heart. It was like the world had stopped, and we were the only two people left. I didn't think I was ready for this, but when our lips almost met, I realized I was already in too deep. The air around us crackled with electricity, and I knew something had changed between us forever. I had always been afraid of what could happen if we crossed that line, but in that moment, I didn't know how to stop myself. Our eyes locked, and in that split second, everything I thought I knew about love and friendship was shattered. I felt like we were caught in a web of emotions, and no matter how hard I tried to escape, I knew I was already tangled in it. I never imagined that a simple touch could leave me questioning everything I thought I knew about our friendship. As we stood there, so close, I realized I wasn't sure if I was about to kiss my best friend or ruin everything we had. The seconds felt like hours, and every breath I took seemed to echo in the space between us, making the moment even more intense. I wanted to run away from it, but there was no escape from the pull between us, no matter how hard I tried to deny it. I thought I could control my feelings, but when I saw the longing in their eyes, I realized I had no control at all. It was as if the world around us disappeared, and all that mattered was the connection we shared in that moment. The intensity of the moment hit me like a wave, and I wasn't sure whether to drown in it or let it carry me away. Every touch, every look, felt like it was leading us to something we couldn't go back from, but I didn't know if I was ready for it. I didn't want to risk our friendship, but when they leaned in, I felt like I had no choice but to follow where my heart was pulling me. The thought of losing them scared me more than anything, but the idea of never knowing what could have been haunted me even more. We were so close, so perfectly aligned in that moment that it was impossible to ignore the connection that was growing between us. I tried to convince myself it was just a passing moment, but deep down, I knew that everything was about to change. I thought it was impossible for two best friends to fall in love, but that moment made me realize anything was possible. I was torn between the fear of losing them and the desire to finally take the leap into the unknown. The tension was unbearable, and I couldn't help but wonder if we were both feeling the same thing, something we couldn't ignore any longer. As our faces drew closer, I felt a storm of emotions stirring inside of me, and I wasn't sure how to handle it. The moment our lips were about to touch, time seemed to freeze. Was this a mistake or the beginning of something deeper? Have you ever been so close to someone that you feel like you can hear their heartbeat? I never thought I'd be in a situation where one kiss could change everything, but here we are. Our friendship was built on trust, but as the tension between us grew, I realized we were walking on the edge of something unspoken. I could feel the heat rising between us, each second making it harder to breathe. And then it happened. The line between friendship and something more is so thin, it only takes a single moment to blur it forever. My best friend's eyes were locked onto mine, and I could feel every nerve in my body on fire. Was I ready to cross that line? In that split second before everything changed, I was left wondering if I'd ever be the same again. Our laughter stopped, and the world went quiet. All that remained was the magnetic pull between us. I tried to ignore the tension, tried to pretend like nothing was happening, but deep down, I knew things would never be the same. I had no idea that one innocent moment could open up a whirlwind of emotions I wasn't ready to face. The kiss was just the beginning, but what happened afterward, that's where everything got complicated. I didn't plan for this to happen, but I couldn't stop myself. Not when everything between us was so undeniable. A simple touch of the hand turned into something so much more, something we couldn't control. I thought I knew everything about my best friend, but when our lips almost met, I realized there was so much more to explore. The silence after was the loudest thing I've ever heard. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. One moment we were just two friends, and the next, it felt like the entire world shifted beneath our feet. I could see it in their eyes. Fear, desire, confusion, all tangled together in a way I couldn't untangle. In that moment, I wasn't sure if I was falling for my best friend or if I was already deep in love and too afraid to admit it. Every heartbeat felt like a countdown to something explosive. Would our friendship survive the fallout? I thought we were just being playful, but when I saw the look in their eyes, I knew I was in way over my head. Our friendship had always been easy, comfortable, but this was like standing on the edge of a cliff, staring into the unknown. We were so close, and yet so far apart. One kiss could change everything we'd ever known. The tension was thick, heavy, like we were two magnets, and it was only a matter of time before we snapped together. What do you do when your best friend's touch feels too good to ignore, but too dangerous to embrace? I couldn't breathe as we got closer, and in that moment, I realized nothing would ever be the same between us again. It wasn't just the kiss. It was the weight of everything we didn't say, the things we both knew but were too afraid to voice. The feelings I had kept buried for so long suddenly rushed to the surface, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for what came next. We were so close to something perfect, but also so close to losing everything we had. I thought I could handle it, but as soon as our faces were inches apart, I realized I was in way deeper than I ever expected. In that split second, I felt my entire world shift, and I couldn't decide if I was excited or terrified. One moment of weakness, and everything I thought I knew about my best friend was turned upside down. I thought I was ready, but when the moment came, I was overwhelmed with a storm of emotions I couldn't control. I never thought a simple moment like that could leave me questioning everything about us. They say you never forget your first kiss, but I didn't realize how unforgettable this kiss would be. My heart was racing, my thoughts a blur. All I could think about was whether this was a mistake or something more. I tried to pretend everything was normal, but the way our hands brushed felt like a spark, an explosion waiting to happen. When you've been friends with someone for so long, it's hard to imagine things changing. But suddenly, that change was impossible to ignore. I thought I knew exactly how I felt, but in that moment, my best friend made me question everything. We stood there, inches apart, not speaking, and yet I felt like we were both saying everything we needed to say. I had never been so scared of something so beautiful, but when it came to crossing that line, I couldn't help but wonder if we would regret it. There was a moment where I almost gave in, where everything in me screamed to kiss them, but I stopped myself. I could feel their breath on my skin, and for a split second, everything else faded away. I knew then it was too late to turn back.